Hello and welcome back. My name is Naseem, and in this video, we will try to understand how we can automate our business processes that is actually using SharePoint. So SharePoint is the widely used tool. Most of the organization use this tool to design their business processes. And in this video, we will try to understand how we can make Microsoft Power Automate flows to automate our business processes. To create a new flow, what we have to do, just log in into Power Automate, go to new flow, and under new flow, just start an instant cloud flow. So under this, we have a number of trigger points. So if you want your flow to be trigger every time there is a file being selected by someone in a SharePoint site, you can use this trigger, or a selected item under SharePoint list, or a when a site has requested to join a new person. So these are sort of trigger we have under SharePoint, but we are not using this trigger to understand the flow. What we are going to do, we are just selecting this manually trigger a flow. Just name it test SharePoint and start it. What it actually means is that this flow which we are just creating needs to be triggered manually by someone, right? So there are two different type of triggers we have. One is the manually trigger. When we are using this manually trigger a flow, what it actually means is that someone from the team needs to trigger this flow manually by logging into Power Automate. We have couple of automatic trigger as well, which I already discussed. So when someone requested to join a SharePoint site, a flow will be triggered automatically, and those trigger called automatic trigger. We are not using any automatic trigger here. Let's start with the manually trigger a flow. And the new flow, what I want to do, the very first step in a SharePoint site to create a new folder under one of the folder which we have. So we have this Finance Automation Center SharePoint site, and under this we have a folder called Documents, and under Documents we have a folder called Project 1. What I needs to do is to create a folder under Project 1 by using Power Automate. What I'm doing, I'm just adding one action, and this action will create a folder under one of the folder of a SharePoint site. So let's search for SharePoint. If we select this SharePoint, these are all of the actions we have under SharePoint, right? If you want to know about the triggers, these are different type of triggers we have, and we can use this trigger to trigger a flow which we designed for a SharePoint site. We are not using trigger, we are actually talking about the actions. And what action we are actually talking about? To create a flow, to create a folder. So create item, this is a action item which we can use to create an item in a SharePoint list. Create new folder is the one we are just going to use. Create file is the one which we can use to create a file under a specific SharePoint folder. Create sharing list and all of action items we have under this SharePoint. So let's use this create new folder. Once we create this action item, it will ask us a couple of different detail. So the very first thing, it will ask us the SharePoint address. Just click on drop down and it will show us all of the SharePoint sites which are accessible by this user. So currently this user only can access this SharePoint site. So just select it, list or library. So we want to know, this action item want to know what list you want to access. So this is documents, and this is some of the default folder we have under a given SharePoint site. Select it, and under document we want to create some folder. So if I go there, under document we have project 1, and under project I want to create a test folder. So let's give it the folder path. So under it we have a project 1, and under it we want to create a test folder. Let's save it and test it. Continue, run flow. Let's check whether it created the folder or not. So under output, it will show us that this is the folder it has created. All of the output it will give us. So these are the different output parameters this activity is returning for us, and under it we can see whether it is created the path or not. So this is the variable full path, and under full path we can see that under SharePoint documents we have project 1, and under project it has created test folder. So this is how we can see that it actually has created the folder, but we want to check. So to check it, go back to the SharePoint site, refresh it, project 1, reload. As you can see, it has actually created a test. So this is how we can perform different automation steps on a given SharePoint site. You can use different type of actions under SharePoint according to your use case. Just go ahead and try to create some automation flows by using different action items in the SharePoint. In case of any question or any difficulty you face while designing and developing these workflows, just let me know in the comment section of this video. I hope by now you are in a condition to create some automation flows for a given SharePoint business processes. I would really appreciate if you go ahead, like and subscribe to my channel